Holy crap.
I believe it was 5 separate craft. That's some straight UFO shit right there.
That's when I started seeing all of the lights and the contact that I've been witnessing.
I just kept filming and looking up at the sky, and it just started happening more frequently.
Look, what is that? What is that? What was that?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of A.L.I.E.N Podcast. I'm your host, Don Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Hey, man, I might be glitching a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, but sometimes, usually around this time in the evening, I guess everybody's kind of like on their phones and on the internet and doing all kinds of crap at the same time. So then we start losing signal, and it's just the bandwidth, and that's because we got the biggest one, right? Still not enough, right? So what do we do? There's nothing we can do, right? But today, man, I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I've been just kind of working on my films and working on my all kinds of other things that I've been doing out there lately, and I'm gonna bring it to you guys today. So anyways, thank you for watching. Yes, you're live. I'm live right now. You're catching it live. Catch us on 26, 28 platforms of audio. All right. So if you want to catch us on audio, go check it out there. We are live right now on audio podcast on the Spreaker app only is for right now. And then it'll go on to Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all these other podcasts that are out there. But today I'm gonna dive a little deep into some stuff, man, that I've been wanting to kind of catch up to, right? Because sometimes the information that my mind's always going 100 miles an hour. I'm always trying to figure out the best ways to kind of say it in just general terms instead of talking in these high intellectual conversations that other people do have, which is great, but not everybody understands that, right? I mean, so some of us got to kind of keep it at a moderate level, right? And that's what I like to do here. So don't forget, like I said, catch us there on extras. You are actually seeing our brand new backgrounds, things like that. We're gonna have merch, of course, that's still coming. Our past podcasts, go check them out. You know what? This last podcast that I did on the solar change, right? So I did that with Mr. Terry Lynch, and we ended up getting kind of like shut down. Yeah, they took away some stuff that they're like, well, I don't know what it was, man, but you know what? All we did was give you the guys the information, and we threw it out there for you guys, and we tried to do the best we can and it was just precautionary measures. That's all it was. It was just precautionary measures of what could happen during a solar eclipse. We know that's coming, right? We all know that's coming. Um, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I decided to go ahead and just make a small ebook, and I'm writing this as we speak. Even today, I was typing away, just trying to get some information on my new ebook that's going to be coming out. It'll probably be like on Kindle, some of these smaller ones. I am not a big author or anything like that. I don't. This is going to be my first one actually, and I decided to do it on CE5 frequencies of contact. Right, so be looking out for this book that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. All right. I'll let you guys know when it's out. It'll be like on Kindle ebook and these kind of ones that you can kind of download. Not a very long or lengthy book. Just this is going to be sort of like a very informative about CE5ing and also about how to the frequencies that we carry within our that resonates within our bodies. That's the possibilities of these contacts that may happen. Even bloodlines, things like that. So I do talk about all this in this book, and it's going to be coming out soon. I'll let you guys know when this book is out. I'm still working on it. I'm almost done with it. It's not going to be, like I said, very long. It's going to be a nice pocket book for you guys to have. You guys to download, check it out, and I'll let you know when it does come out. I'm like I said, I'm working very diligently and trying to make a lot of these things happen for you guys because it's very informative. Of course, our middle, right? Don't forget about that. Part 2 and part 3. Part 3 is done. It's a done deal. I just finished it, set it up, everything. Actually, me and the wife are going to watch it tonight. We're going to overlook it again. It's going to be a great film for you guys to see. So you haven't seen part 2, go to our Skylight One channel. Go check it out there. I'm going to talk about that real quick. Sometimes I don't, it's like I tell Terry, I tell a lot of you guys out there, we might not be able to uh when we're doing these films. um there's a lot of experiencers out there, right? There's a lot of abductees out there, right, that have different experiences, right? And we're not there to step on your toes or anything like that, but um we're there to give the evidence of what these other people have gone through and witnessed. And what we're trying to do here is kind of put the dimensional thing and the extraterrestrial thing together in these films, right? So, and we do believe they're connected together in that sense, right? They're within the same realm, or they can be amongst the same realm, which is like in a spiritual realm or different realm within our consciousness, right? That we perceive, right? So, I did send it to this gentleman that has been having ET encounters for about, he said, since, well, he's 70 years now, but he said for about over 20 years. And he hasn't had really bad ones, right? And pretty much what he was trying to say. But um, he says I was pretty much on point, things like that. But there's different things, different ways, governments, yada yada. A lot of that stuff does get in the way, and we do understand that as well. So what we try to do is just try to give all the information on these films as much as possible. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. They'll be coming up pretty soon. All right, so let's get ready let's just start talking about our topics today. Of course, the big one. What is the big one? Bam, totality. We're gonna have this eclipse gonna be coming here soon within the week. So I hope you guys are ready for that. If you're within this path, all right. So if you I think, let me see, is Cindy is she might be within that path. I think so. But if she is, man, she's gonna have total darkness. They say you're gonna be able to see the comet as well when it does come through as it darkens the sky. Of course, we all started talking about the solar flares, things like that, the electronic magnetic disruptions. These are just small things that happen daily, right? And so, just kind of get ready for those things as well, right? And these it might change a few things in our atmosphere or below our feet. Things might change as well, so kind of be prepared, get your water, all those good things, right? We're not here to scare people or anything like that, but of course we started talking about the UFOs and how they were close to the sun and how they charge with these electronic magnetic fields around the sun, right? We talked about that with Mr. Terry Lynch before as well, right? And we were able to get in depth of what it is, right? And but sometimes you have to go back to the very beginning, right? Um, let's go past the eclipse. Let's go past that. We're like before all this, right? And you really have to dive into the what I always talk about is the subconscious realm, right? And when we talk about subconscious realm, it's that we want to make sure that you understand the subconscious within the conscious. Conscious is in the now, like what I'm doing now. I'm conscious. I'm kind of telling you guys. I'm talking to you right now as we're talking, but within the subconscious, which is behind you, it's awareness, right? A lot of these things happen in the background while you're asleep, right? And this is where a lot of these things take place, right? Um, when you ever notice, like when you're asleep, a lot of times there are these dreams that are happening in the background. Sometimes it almost feels astral or like an astral projection of some sort, right? Almost like you leave your body, right? And when this happens within your deep subconscious sleep, uh, you possibly do leave your body, right? And you're able to kind of float out there into that dimension, right? That's happening at that moment. What if we are actually going into a different dimension, or we are leaving our bodies in a subconscious kind of realm, right? And this is all going to connect. Okay, so while we're going here, and when you're in that deep realm of sleep in your subconscious level, a lot of things are happening in the background. Okay, look, think about this just for a minute. Most people sleep 7 8 hours. I do. I sleep 7 hours. I gotta have it. um but you don't get into REM, rapid eye movement, is when your eyes start doing this, when you start dreaming. Last 15 minutes before you wake up, right? So what happens on the 6 hours and 45 minutes in that whole time, right? It's like your everything just shuts down in your system, in your body, your brain, all the activity, right? And it's still going, but you're sleeping, right? So what happens at those levels? Um, what if you are in a different state, right? In a different dreamscape, right? Like I talked about before, right? Separating yourself from conscious, right? So and we talked about that in one of my past podcasts, right? How these things happen, right? Where you're like dreaming and you're with family or you're in a darker place, right? These are things that it's a possibility that this is where you're traveling, like an astral projection in a sense. Maybe you leave your body, maybe you do. Hey, I don't know, but I've had that experience one time. One time. It's like when I was asleep, this was like maybe 25, 30 years ago, right? And I remember floating out of my body. I could see myself below. And then I was floating to a girlfriend's house back then, and I was floating over her and I could see her asleep, right? Well, how does that happen? Right? And then I heard a cat go meow, and that's what woke me up. And bam, I'm back in my body again. Right. So this is what I'm talking about. The subconscious realm of how you separate yourself, your soul, everything kind of separates, right? How does that happen? And then, like I talked about before, we manifest the future within seeing like future events, things. You ever had like deja vu? You ever had like a deja vu moment? Like, man, what? It's like I've done this before. I've been there before, right? And we think that's a possibility of moments that are lost in time, right? So, and don't worry, I'm going to get to the big picture here. But when you're in these deep subconscious realms, right, with deja vu, there is no time, right? In those subconscious, you ever look at your watch when you're asleep and you're dreaming? You ever look at there's a clock ticking? You never see that. There is no time. There is no time in your dreamscape when you're asleep, right? So what I'm trying to get at here is the projection of where you are in a universal connection and the essence of time, right? This is where the possibilities of the extraterrestrial development starts coming from, right? This is where it starts coming from. Because at that point there is no time, right? David says, I've done left my body for years, even did a flyby past Saturn. I practiced this for many years. The shadow people took that away from me. That really upset me a lot. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. But it's what I'm trying to say is when you're in that realm, you're not within yourself, right? And there is no time, right? The universal connection, there is no time. Like I talked about in the dreams, it's like you've left that certain part of your body where there is nothing. And what happens during an extraterrestrial abduction as well? These things. Well, when you travel through the subconscious levels, right, and you're traveling astral projecting, what makes you think that you're not making some kind of a contact, right? But not realizing that you are. You're almost like transcending a signal of some sort to, you know, an extraterrestrial that is beyond our realm, right? Their subconscious level or unconscious level is 10, 15, 20 times beyond us, right? So what makes it not say that you are the beacon? You are the one that's contacting these things without you really knowing that you're doing it, right? Mr. Terry Lynch is out there. Hello from the middle. How you doing, my brother? And what I wanted to talk about is the ritualistic things that extraterrestrials do, right? And how they do these things, and why as well, right? So, we start dreaming of aliens, like I did. I talked about this in my subconscious of one that I did in the past. I dreamt of an alien, of a woman that I remember seeing her come out of a ball or a sphere of some sort, right? I saw her come out of this. She had like blonde hair, kind of dirty brown, and I helped her get out of this sphere that was there. And then she tells me, like, her mouth's not moving. I remember this vividly. And she's telling me she wants to blend in with everybody else to help her do this, right? And this is in that dream that I'm having, right? Bam. Then I wake up, right? So, what was these things telling me at the time that it was happening, right? When I was having this dream, was I making some kind of a connection with this extraterrestrial or whatever it was in my dream in a subconscious realm, right? Leaving or maybe astral projecting. Was it that at that moment, right? And these are what kind of gets me thinking about how a lot of these things are happening, these extraterrestrial encounters, these abductions, things that happen to people. Is it, do they get the sign of before, hey, we're coming, or hey, I see you, right? David says, what I don't can't understand is how the shadow people knew I was doing this. They're in that same dimension, man. They're in that realm. When you leave your body, you're doing this, right? You're actually connecting, but without knowing. They're the only ones that do know, right? Snapchat says, I did an astral CE5 with more than OBE experience consciously with the gateway tapes. It's odd because CE5s, when I can truly get in the conscious state, and when I'm traveling through space and back to my location, right? So it's trying to say that, she's able to go and come back to that same place as an astral, kind of like an astral projection during a CE5, right? CE5 is when you're making contact. Now, let me get back to that story of that alien, right? So I wake up, I open up my phone, and I get a text message from Angela, right? She does a lot of predictions and premonitions, right? She says, "Hey, have you heard of the thing of the solar flares, and there's going to be something coming?" And she was already telling me this was a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right? And then she starts talking about the solar eclipse, right? At the same time, this was before the solar eclipse even popped up anywhere on our radars, or just before anybody started talking about it, right? So then another friend of mine, Rosie, she texted me at the same 15 minutes before that, saying, "Hey man, I got this message from this preacher, and he was talking about the solar eclipse and these mass things were going to happen, and I don't understand what's going on, and I'm kind of confused." And so I'm having these two conversations as soon as I wake up about the solar stuff, right? I'm like, what the heck? I just woke up. So I start telling Angela, right, about the dream that I had, right? Start telling her about what I saw, because she started telling me about these things, or talking to her from the telling her about what might happen, right? And I started telling her about that dream that I had, right? About the alien helping the woman out of the sphere, things like that. So she made the connection right away. And she says, "Hey man, did this person look like this?" And she sent me a picture of her daughter. She goes, "Because my daughter resembles one of them," right? And when she sent me the picture, I was like blown away because it was so close to what I saw in my dream, right? So, and that's what I'm trying to say was the actual connection, right? To that, right? And what makes that connection? Here we come to the CE5s, the where people start getting together and just start talking about, wanting to contact. But what if you're already contacted, right? What if they're already sending you the signals, "Hey, we see you. We'll be there shortly," right? And this is what I've talked about, about the abductions, things like that happens to people. Now, when a CE5 event, when you're doing these connections, now this is my hypothesis about the CE5. You might be around a bunch of people there, and some of them people, maybe 90% of the people, have no connection with the extraterrestrial or the celestial being that you're trying to contact, let's just say, right? But there's one person, maybe, or two in that whole large group that is connected. And these are the manifestations and the extraterrestrials that are coming out to see. You just happen to be there, right? So you might be that person that you've been contacted through the other side, right? Or through that different dimension, whether it's good or whether it's bad, right? So it's not everyone, me personally, has made a connection through CE5 events and things like that, because I notice people that have been doing it. Some people don't see nothing, you know, uh, and then maybe half or a little bit more start seeing things happening, right, as they meditate and go forward, right? There's a little bit I'm getting to the point here. But what if, like I said, you're making these connections and these things are looking at you, where we have the aliens and people, kind of making this connection, right? And I just answered what was the connection, right? What if the connection was through subconscious, right? Nobody's ever thought about that, right? Or maybe they have. Hell, maybe I haven't read it yet. It's Terry Lynch with a CE5 hole in the ground with Donald Ledesma ufology and research. Yes, we will do a CE5 there. We already have someone that has made a connection, which is Mr. Terry Lynch, right? And just like Snack Bitches, I'm starting to doing CE5s. I will start experiencing things without doing actual protocols. I've been having dreams about far days, EMPs, turbulences are coming. I didn't know why, right? This is a subconscious level when you're leaving your body, right? When you're asleep and before you get to REM sleep, right? So these could be the connections of these extraterrestrials and you, right? Only you. So what if, like I said, you are the key to the connection? In other words, it's not just us seeing them coming here to so they can explore our space and in our atmosphere and just come and check us out like we're the zoo, right? So what if you call them without even knowing it? What if we're calling these things without even knowing it? Without having to send some kind of a signal as far as a audible signal, but you're sending a frequency signal through you because remember, human beings have a resonance and a frequency and a signal. You are the antenna. Remember that. Doesn't have to be audible. So this is the possibility why the connection is there and why the abductions do take place on some. Some are horrible, some are not, right? Like I was talking about the gentleman earlier. He did not have horrible extraterrestrial visitations. His were not horrible. And that kind of separates to what we're calling. We just started talking about David. He was talking about the shadow people, how they took these things away from him. Who are the shadow people, right? Or what are they? Are they the spiritual dimensional realm of the shadow people? Or, coming from a different, just a darker place? Or are they extraterrestrials manifesting as shadow people and shutting them down, right? And these are, what could possibly happen to a lot of these folks, right? You don't know who you're calling. It's a phone call, basically, without the phone call, without the phone. You are the phone. You are the signal. And I talk about this a lot in my book. You are gonna be um when you read this book, it's gonna dive deep into CE5s and it's gonna define everything for you. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you here, but in more scientific terminology, which you're gonna hear and you're gonna read on that book when it does come out. But the sightings of the contact, right, is what we start seeing from then on, right? The sightings is what's there. And then once we see the sightings, here comes the contact right after that. Sangman says, I'm thinking that it's not me, all like I thought it was about me. I'm thinking it's now about the connection. I saw them before CU5. I started seeing and trying to find out what I was seeing. David says, are aliens being notified as soon as we leave our bodies?
A tracking system.
That's a possibility. That is a strong possibility. And I do talk about that in my book. I sure do. Because I just think that there is that connection of the tracking. No, Mr. Ryan Keaton is out there. How you doing, my brother? So, this is the parts of after the sightings and the connections and the contact, right? Miss Shannon's out there watching. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for watching tonight. Man, listening tonight. People that are listening and driving, be careful while you're driving. But what I'm talking about here is the sightings. Once we're already coming up to the sightings, and then we start getting into the contact, right? The contact is actually an extraterrestrial manifesting itself in front of you, or actually things with physicality start happening to you, cuts in your hands, arms, triangular shapes on your navel areas, just dissection, like Miss Regina talked about in our movie, the middle part 3. You're gonna see that in part 3, what exactly happened to her, right? And as we're talking about the sightings, I do have a video to show you. And let me throw that out. So be forewarned. Well, no, this one doesn't have any bad words in it or anything. So let's check this out. This person caught this craft up in the sky, right behind up in their home, and they happened to record it, and you could see it. It's a beautiful actual video. Just watch this here. You can see that circular craft. Dogs are going nuts. This is at night, right above the house. Look at that. Amazing. That is amazing. These are where the sightings start taking place, right? So you start seeing a lot more sightings as it's happening, right? So here we go. We're going to see another one. I believe this happened around Arizona, around that area. Somebody's going to drop a lot of F bombs. All right. So people in the audio world, cover the kids' ears. There's going to be a lot of F bombs, but you're going to notice on this one, these things are going to look like fire, right? Like Terry always talks about, and they're going to have like little zigzags, but they're going to go different directions, not like a parachute. Parachute will just go down, right? Or in circles and down. These actually stay where they're at. This is the strange part about this video. That's why I'm going to throw it out to you guys. Probably about 1 minute and 40 seconds, but I'll cut it off a little early. Check this out.
Sabrina, hurry, come! Holy shit, dog, it's a fucking meteor! It's a fucking meteor, dog! Holy shit, where'd it go? Oh my god!
You just gave me a heart attack.
Oh my god, that was fucking sick! Dog, that's aliens. That's alien.
What the fuck is that?
That's aliens coming to the fucking Tyler.
What? What the
Tyler.
fuck is that?
Tyler.
What the fuck is
Tyler.
What?
What the fuck is going on?
that? They're going sideways.
They're going sideways. They ain't even following no more.
Look at that. They're just flying up.
Hey, look at this green dot on my camera, Tyler. Look at the green dot.
What the?
Look at the green dot.
I see it.
Tyler, what the fuck is going on? They're standing there. They're hovering there. Look, they're red. They're red. They're red. They're red. They're red.
What the fuck, dude?
I got that
Those
shit on
ain't
video.
meteors, bro. Look,
No.
that one's flying sideways.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Tyler. Tyler. Holy shit. What is going on right now?
What the?
Oh my
fuck?
god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
They're zigzagging.
Yeah,
across
dude,
the
what
sky.
the fuck is going on right now? That is a meteor. Sabrina, get your ass over here. That is a fuck.
All right, so you get the logistics of that sighting, right? I mean, they're super excited. I'm sure they're teenagers dropping f bombs everywhere, which is what a lot of people do during a sighting, right? It's exactly what they do. But if you notice on that video, a lot of them were dropping, they went sideways, and then more appeared, and then they were just going sideways and then kind of up, right? What does that? Facebook user says, I feel strongly with something's about to happen with the, within the eclipse. You know, Facebook users that was in a formation. So people that were in the audio world, you know, these things were just falling out of the sky. You know, it was a beautiful, clear sky evening, and you could see these fireballs just start dropping out of the sky, right? More than 10, 15 of them disappear, then reappear, and then going sideways, and then reappearing and almost going upwards in a different direction. What does that? Ryan Keaton says that's insane. Yes, it is insane. That was crazy. I thought you'd get a kick out of that like I did. I was like, wow. You know, if it was parachutes or whatever, you know, the flare would die down. They would just go straight down, right? These things were just going up, right? Sideways, different trajectories, right? We've been noticing a lot that lately in the ufology community of these videos of these things as they're changing different direction, as like what Mr. Terry Lynch has talked about before, right? So as we talk about the abductions of the past or present, you know, they've talked about this in the past, you know, different cultures threw it out there, you know, in their clay sculptures. They couldn't really write it, you know, and things that we could understand, but they threw it out there for us to kind of say, hey man, there's these things are out there, right? They were already making connections. And then now is what we see is the actual connection that we're making in a more intellectual kind of way and thinking as they did in the past, but a different way of us putting it out there, right? Now we have our fancy computers in our hands, right? When I was a teenager, man, our computers were about, oh my God, they're huge. You know, our biggest, our TVs were huge. You know, now everything's right here in this small little handheld device in our hands that we carry every day. So, were we being warned of what was happening um, in the past with the abductions, right? And the frequencies, like we were talking about. Are these the possibilities of what this Facebook user said? I believe it was David. They talked about being tracked, right? Of how we're being tracked. Maybe you're being tracked. Maybe that's how they're finding you, right? Who's the that figured out how to take out these tracking devices, right? Who we've talked about before. Dr. Roger Lear, right? He's the one that found these tracking devices inside of people, humans that they had stuck in their arms or hands everywhere, right? He was a surgeon, you know, he was a ufologist, you know, he came out on Coast to Coast all the time, you know, talking about how the depth of ufology. This man was, you know, eating, breathing, drinking ufology. He helped so many people get these implants out of their bodies, right? June DeYoung talked about him, how he came to her house, brought those things and put them on her table. So how, I mean, are we or are some people being tracked? We talked about the alien, we're talking about the alien implants now, right? So this is part of their ritualistic ways, right? How the sightings come into effect, right? The frequencies that you're sending while you're subconsciously asleep. Then they come to you in the middle of the night. You don't even know. Like I told you, what happens in that 6 hours and 45 minutes when you're dead to the world, right? What if these implants are happening and you don't even know it, right? This is a hypothetical thing. It might be. So how do these people get these things in their bodies? You know, Mr. Roger Lear, Dr. Roger Lear, rest in peace, but he pulled out a lot of these implants from people all around the world. They came to him everywhere, right? He showed the world exactly what was implanted in your backs, behind your legs, in your hands, pulling out these parts that almost look like a meteor, right? Some kind of metal or metallic object. And it was emitting a frequency from this projectile that's was embedded in your skin, in your nose, behind your brain, behind your ear, right? This is a ritualistic behavior of the extraterrestrial, right? Of what it does and what it can do to you, right? Mr. Cherry Lynch says, we have contact with his son, Chris Lear. Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, we're taking him up to the Cascadia Guides. I'm going to try to get him when I'm up there filming. That'd be nice. I'd love to meet him. But just the process of this alien implant removals from Dr. Lear that he pulled out of so many people throughout the years, right? And he did justice to a lot of people, and he helped a lot of people, right? And this is what I was telling this gentleman that he talked about in one of my films, right? I said, I'm here. This is what I told him. I'm here to help you, right? I'm here to help people. And this is what I do with these films. It helps them open their eyes a little bit to maybe that's happened to me, or maybe this is happening as well, right? And this is, and he appreciated it, what I had told him, right? That I'm just here to help people. That's it. I'm not here to be a millionaire. That's not going to happen. I'm here to show the world what's happening to people all over the world, right? The things that they hid in Area 51, right? And he talked about the governments and all the stuff that was happening behind closed doors, right? Behind the veil. Huh? We talked about that once out, right? Didn't we? Behind the veil. That's one of our good podcasts, man. You need to go back and check that out. Sang bitches. One of the vacations felt similar. One encounter seemed like the ones I've had in the rest. This one was different. My missing time came with an injury years ago, and I wonder if there's an implant. Maybe. Maybe. Angela Ellison. Oh, nice. She's watching. I'm glad. She says, mine emerged. I pulled it out. A doctor is studying it. Good for you. I'm glad you got that thing out of you. Those implants, they say they're very bothersome, these extraterrestrial implants. Um, the frequency can be, you'll have a large ringing in your ears. Sometimes it's unbearable to people because the inside, it's kind of like disturbing your frequency, your resonance, right? Remember I told you this earlier? You have a resonance and it's distracting the body, right? So it might be a great thing to pull that thing out because it might be stopping your body from actually being the deterrent to any kind of let's just say sicknesses or things like that that your bodies are trying to fight naturally, right? So let's just say that in that way, that these are the possibilities of what this implant is possibly doing to your body and disturbing the resonance in your body, right? We all have an aura. They've measured the aura. They know everybody has one, right? Angela says the doctor that assisted Dr. Lear Sevishes seeing crystalline implants, very rare. That's what I had. But it was so biological. I hope you still have it. You better keep that. Don't lose that. It's strange. We talked about Area 51. We talked about the frequencies, the changes, the things that these extraterrestrials do to people. And after that, there is the the part where you do get the PTSD, right? You start getting these awful feelings sometimes, and it's not a good thing. None of that is right, but it comes from somewhere. Whether you see a triangular shape of a craft up in the sky, TR3B, it could be that, whatever it is that you're seeing up there. Notice that a lot of these folks that I am in close contact with, they're constantly, constantly, uh, you know, shooting footage, constantly shooting photos, picking up things on their cameras constantly because I think they're being tracked. She says Linda Moulton is doing the interview once we're done. Good for you. I love her. This is a great ufologist. These extraterrestrials can be a bothersome thing, but it does start from the beginning, right? What I talked about before, frequencies, our subconscious realm, CE5ing when you're trying to contact, right? And if you do this, great, go for it. Give it a shot, man. See what you see. Have your tools with you, which is your phone, have a tablet, not just those, have something to write down with a piece of paper too. If you might see shapes or anything like that that might come to your mind, it might just manifest itself in your hand. You don't know. Or have somebody that's not being a part of the actual event just filming and just maybe just watching just you, right? Use electronic magnetic field detector around the area after you're done or while you're doing it. There's nothing wrong with doing a CE5. If you're inquisitive about it, you might be lucky and see this other person's UFO or this other person's extraterrestrial. Because if you don't have these encounters on a daily basis or a daily kind of level, as I've noticed and I've studied people, then no cowbell, right? Then you might not, they're not might not be attracted to you in a sense to who you are, your DNA, your realm, or who you are, right? Maybe your bloodline. Who knows? I believe some people are the connection, and they are key. So just remember during the eclipse, keep your eyes in the sky. Remember, April 8th, 2024. If you're on totality, get your cameras up in the air. No, don't just film the eclipse. We've seen a bunch of them. Film around the area, around the skies, everything, any anomalies that you see. Film it. You might see something different we've never seen before, right? Always be prepared, right? Remember, because in your dreams, there is no time. It's time. But in your subconscious realm, there's no time, right? Remember that when you go to bed tonight. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast as much as I did. I hope I was able to inform you of a lot of things that that are going to come out of my book as well, right? And things that I think about on a daily basis. On trying to do ufology, study people, and help you and help people around the world as we watch these podcasts, listen to these podcasts, and learn daily, right? Erica Garcia says, hello, I have pictures of the video of the last eclipse, and you can see clearly an object came out. David says, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Sniper says, awesome podcast. Yes, it is. I thought it was a great podcast. Very informative. And I hope you guys keep an open mind. Keep your eyes in the skies, right? If you see a UFO, step out. Pull over where it's safe. Take your video, take your pictures, do it outside the vehicle, not inside. We don't want to see the glare of the windows. Or get somebody, give them your camera, let them do it for you as you're driving. If you can't stop, that's okay. That's all right too. All right. Thank you guys for chiming in tonight. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Follow us on 2628 platforms. Don't forget, look for my book. It's going to be coming out soon. CE5 Frequencies of Contact. I'll let you guys know when it comes out. And, I'm going to give a few copies away to some people out there. You might be the lucky one if you know who you are. Remember, part 3 is coming out of the middle, Conscious Contact. I'm sorry. That one, part 3, is going to come out probably before part 2. So be looking out for it on Amazon Prime. It is what it is. It's just going to come out, but I was trying to wait, but it's taking too long for my platform, unfortunately, but it is what it is. All right, guys, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening, and have yourselves a good night. Have a happy Easter. Cascarones. Break those eggs. All right. Enjoy your barbecue. Enjoy your beer. Have an amazing evening. Talk to you later.